Chapter 1, Piracy 101. The first step towards soliciting membership in the august brotherhood of pirates is asking yourself, do I really want to do this? In case the misadventures of Captain Jack Sparrow weren't enough to warn you away from life on the high seas, it bears repeating that a pirate's life is fraught with peril, hardship, poor hygiene, and some really bad food. On the upside, you get to be a pirate, feared, loathed, whispered about, envied, and above all, as free as an albatross on a Gulf breeze. Once you're secure in your conviction, keep the following tips in mind. They may save you years of frustration, or at the very least, spare you a sordid initiation. How to become a pirate. Well, you've got to start somewhere, and you can't start right out as a captain, because you've got to earn that lofty status, whether fairly or otherwise. So let's begin with the basics. If you're going to be a pirate, you need to look like a pirate, sound like a pirate, keep up with the pirates, and be accepted by the pirates. Sure, you want to be a colorful individual with a fearsome reputation, but as with most social groups, you'll need to first fit in well enough to be accepted before you can deviate enough to be admired. Which is to say, impress them at the job interview first, and impress them with surprises once you've got the gig. The following 4 steps are the fundamentals for any would-be pirate. Make sure you can swim. Believe it or not, many of a would-be pirate has wound up feeding sharks at the bottom of the Jamaica Channel, with their own flesh. Walking the plank or swimming to shore is an everyday occupational hazard, not to mention saving drowning damsels. So swimming should be as easy and natural to you as skipping through a meadow. Not that pirates skip through meadows, mind you. If it's been a while since you've taken a dip in the salty deep, proceed immediately to the nearest beach and start practicing your breaststroke, backstroke, forward crawl, and dog paddle, not to mention holding your breath, a skill pirates are called on to exercise often and without warning. If you live in a landlocked area, the pool of your local recreation center will do for a dip. But if you want to be a sea dog, shouldn't you start thinking about moving someplace with the sea? Just a thought. Dress like a pirate. Despite the apparent anachronism, your town's annual Renaissance fair is an ideal place to shop for pirate garb. After all, the golden age of piracy begins almost exactly where the Renaissance ends. That is, roughly around 1700, and pirates prided themselves on wearing cast-offs and slightly outdated clothing. They were, in a sense, the punk rockers of their time. Jack Sparrow, more so than others. In any case, the fair should offer a wide array of suitable pants, shirts, doublets, jerkins, vests, belts, and hats. Pay particular attention to the hat. A pirate's hat, invariably of the tricorn or three-cornered style, is a symbol of his stature, his pride, and his sartorial panache. Of course, female pirates, like Angelica, usually wear men's clothing, more for convenience than anything else. Although some did impersonate men outright, which is a wholly acceptable practice. That said, it's also perfectly fine for a female pirate to flaunt her femininity in any way she sees fit, including the wearing of skirts, dresses, and bodices. A word of wisdom to the beginner. Despite the romance surrounding such cliched accoutrements as peg legs and eye patches, they aren't all they're cracked up to be. Restricting vision in one eye inhibits your depth perception, which can be crucial in matter of naval maintenance and navigation. As for wooden legs, well, you need to be missing a real leg before you can wear one. We don't recommend being in too much of a hurry to do that. There are, after all, plenty of men and monsters of the sea willing to oblige you. Number 3. Come up with a pirate name. Like rock stars or criminals, pirates love using aliases, which makes sense seeing as how pirates are, in a way, both rock stars and criminals. Not all pirate aliases are fanciful, however. In most cases, it's better to choose a nondescript name, something that doesn't distract from your image. That is the one you'll be building and exaggerating. Names as mundane as Charles, Anne, and, of course, Jack have worked well for many pirates. You just want to make sure that authorities can't track down your family or friends, all of whom would probably be more than happy to turn you in, especially if the reward is right. You also don't want to call yourself something cartoonish or boastful like Plundering Bob or Slash and Sink Kate, seeing as how that will get you laughed out of the pirate community faster than you can scupper a dinghy. Granted, Some of the most luminary pirates in history, like Blackbeard, Edward England, and Calico Jack, have used colorful aliases, but it's not recommended for the novice. Drawing too much attention to yourself is a bad idea, at least until you're better accustomed to dodging blockades and musket balls. Number 4. Sign on to a pirate crew. Some people are lucky enough to wake up after a drunken night at a seaside tavern to find themselves press-ganged into a pirate crew, stuck on a ship sailing halfway to Barbados. Sadly, such good fortune can't be counted on. After picking a name, dressing the part, and showing up your swimming skills, it's time to track down a recruiter. Recruiters can usually be found in the seediest watering hole closest to the docks. For his recruiting, Jack Sparrow often used the grimy tavern known as the Faithful Bride on the Haitian island of Tortuga. Look for a line made up of the most tattered, shambling, sorry excuses for seafarers you can find. A line with, at its head, a smiling man holding out a quill and a contract, and queue up. But be warned, although it's customary and forward-thinking for pirate captains to distribute all loot equally among crew members, they also lie outrageously about the length of service and threshold of danger for a particular voyage. Yet when starting out as a pirate, you can't be too picky. Just swallow the recruiting spiel, close your eyes, and sign on the dotted line. After all, it's only an alias you're putting down in ink. How to recognize a fellow pirate. No pirate is an island. Once you've firmly decided to become a brigand of the high seas, you'll naturally gravitate toward your own kind. But before even thinking of enlisting shipmates of your own, you need to find other pirates, and they don't exactly advertise openly. Picking up on the subtle, telltale traits of a surreptitious pirate is the best way to make new friends. Here are a few dead giveaways even the most covertly disguised pirate can't help but drop. The walk. Today we often refer to criminals taking the walk of shame. In the heyday of the sea pirate, there was no such thing. Those who showed weakness or hesitation on the wharves of the Caribbean were easy pickings for pickpockets and press-gangers. The savvy pirate, therefore, is one who struts boldly and colorfully. Jack Sparrow is the master of this trade. His extravagant, boldly unsteady step has been known to intimidate and confound just as effectively as does his sword. The trick in looking for such a person is tuning your senses to home on the small, peculiar differences in gait that separate a pirate from, say, some poor sot who's merely missing a few toes, or wits. With practice and a sharp eye, you can begin to discern in pirates a complex and at times gravity-defying pattern of ambulation, the natural rolling side-to-side gait of the perennial seaborn, which comes from the pitch of a ship upon the waves, is augmented on land by an understated yet profound swagger that subliminally sends the signal to any potential predator. There's a tiger shark lurking beneath this landlubber garb. Of course, other less complimentary influences are at play in a pirate's sly strut, namely the nimble navigation of a springy plank tiptoed at musket point and the extravagant lope of the habitually rum-sodden. But there's no need to boast of such things among polite company. The talk. The argot of the pirate is a complex one. In essence, the pirate language is a pidgin of the slangs of seafarers throughout the ages, including the corsairs of the Mediterranean, the picaroons of England, and the natives of the Caribbean Isles. That's not to say that salty accent of the pirate, and particularly of Jack Sparrow, who possess a rum-infused speech entirely his own, is something unintelligible to the layman or lubber. Rather, its close kinship to the King's English means that pirates aren't instantly recognizable by their speech alone, which is as it should be. As with pirate walking, pirate talking should be a subtle variation on what's socially acceptable. Littering one's diction with the blasphemy of your average buccaneer is far less desirable than lightly dropped, thinly veiled references to Hardy's jolliness and the letter X. Also, despite far too many popular and frankly demeaning depictions, self-respecting pirates don't punctuate their speech with nonsense like "arr," unless, of course, they're cleverly impersonating someone impersonating a pirate, in which case such poor taste is in the service of a higher and hopefully profitable purpose. Mind you, many pirates aren't self-respecting whatsoever, in which case "arr" is only natural. The smell. This subject isn't pleasant enough to dwell on for long, so suffice it to say that pirates are a fragrant lot. Even Sparrow, that most dapper and charismatic of scoundrels, was given to a certain odoriferous aura. Granted, all sailors are at least a little frightful when sensed from downwind, but pirates possess even less discipline than the average merchant or military man. Even when pirates do clean up, which is seldom, the compounded perfume of fish, tar, and soiled laundry tends to cling to them like a bad memory. When all else fails in your search for a fellow pirate, follow your nose. The tattoos. The origins of tattooing are ancient and unknowable. But one thing seems likely: pirates were responsible for introducing them to Western culture. At the very least, they gave tattoos their menacing outlaw reputation, one that persists in part to this day. Sailors of reputable vessels once used telescopes to scour the decks of oncoming ships, looking for a telltale tattoo that would identify the crew as pirates. If sailors can do it, so can you. Keeping an eye out for tattoos, especially those peeking out from under sleeves at the forearm, such as Jack Sparrow's infamous mark showing his avian namesake, adjacent to a brand cruelly given to him by the East India Company, is an ideal way to identify a potential pirate. The designs are often unimaginative and predictable: skulls, skeletons, ships, and even the occasional favorite strumpet. Sparrow, of course, is known for a most unorthodox tattoo, a poetic text. Across his back, however, you might not get a chance to see such dazzling inkwork unless a pirate is being flogged in public, which, to be precise, is not exactly rare for a pirate. The Brethren Court. After you've established some sort of contact with a fellow pirate, hopefully one that doesn't involve side-by-side sentences in the stockade, the next step is to seek out the Brethren Court, also known as the Order of the Brethren, the Pirate Council, and the Brethren of the Coast. This secret society of brigands and blackguards is widely reported to have been abolished toward the end of the 17th century. But who do you think spread such rumors? The court is furtive and unfathomable, and membership can mean access to the accumulated wisdom of centuries of piratehood. So how does one recognize a member of the Brethren Court? Don't even think about it. There is no secret handshake or card, and only 9 pirate lords may serve at any one time. They are known by the pieces of 8 they carry, as well as by the chanty "Hoist the Colors," which they sing to call a conclave to order. If you're fortunate and perceptive enough to follow such clues, the best you can do is to try to offer your services as a subservient. Serving on the crew of a pirate lord is the only way to fast-track your pirate career, and if you're extremely loyal and trustworthy, become a lord yourself one day. Lastly, don't make the mistake of taking the word brethren to mean male only. Not only do lady pirates abound throughout the history of the court, the legendary Elizabeth Swann became one of the greatest pirates in history. Pirates may be loutish lot, but talent is talent, regardless of the package in which it is wrapped.